Welcome to the feature demonstration of Storage Policy-Based Management, or SPBM, capabilities of vSAN. SPBM from VMware vSAN enables precise control of storage services, like availability levels, capacity consumption, and stripe widths for performance. The vSphere client offers a new simplified user interface that provides easy creation of a customized storage SPBM policy. Using the vSphere client, storage policies can also be easily managed and assigned to virtual machines and individual objects, such as a virtual disk. Storage policies can also be reassigned if the application requirements change without any downtime and without migrating virtual machines between data stores. Before we examine how an SPBM policy determines the data placement of virtual machine objects, let's take a look inside a virtual machine. A virtual machine contains various objects. Objects are comprised of chunks of data, known as components, and can grow up to a maximum size of 255 gigabytes. The number of components representing each object is determined by several factors. Failure to tolerate, or FTT equals 1, and RAID 1 mirroring implies that the cluster is designed to tolerate a one-node failure without any data loss. As an example, a 100 gigabyte virtual disk with an FTT equals 1 and RAID 1 mirroring would consist of two 100 gigabyte components placed on two hosts with a witness component on a third host. Some virtual machines might have multiple disks with varying levels of service. For example, in a database server, the operating system can be replaced with relative ease. However, the database undergoes constant updates and changes. The virtual disk containing the operating system can use a policy that stripes across more drives than the application virtual disk. We will now demonstrate vSAN's SPBM capabilities by creating a new storage policy containing RAID 5 erasure coding. Erasure coding offers low capacity consumption while providing the same level of availability compared to mirroring. Let's begin. Click on Create VM Storage Policy. Name it RAID 5 erasure coding and click Next. Enable the Data Storage Specific rule for vSAN storage. Click Next. The new vSphere client interface allows you to easily navigate through the process of policy creation by defining the availability settings from the Advanced setting into separate tabs. From the drop-down menu, select One Failure RAID 5 erasure coding. Notice that the storage space for 100 gigabytes VM disk will be 133.33 gigabytes, as data will now be striped across 4 hosts. Click Next. Now the failure of a disk or an entire host can be tolerated without any data loss. The vSAN DC data store has been displayed as compatible. Click Next to continue. Complete the review and click Finish. As we can see, the new policy has been created. Now let's apply a new storage policy. A storage policy is applied when creating a new virtual machine. Storage policies for existing virtual machines can be changed at any time without disruption or downtime. Now, let's edit the storage policy on Virtual Machine App 4. We can apply a storage policy on the entire virtual machine or onto individual objects, activating the Configure per Disk option. We're going to apply the RAID 5 erasure coding policy only to Disk 1 and leave the default policy to Disk 2, which will be RAID 1 mirroring. Click OK to finish applying the storage policy. Finally, let's take a look at the compliant state of vSAN components. The list of virtual objects in the vSAN components placement can be viewed by going to the Monitor tab and by selecting Physical Disk Placement from the vSAN section. We can now see that the components from Disk 1 and Disk 2 are distributed across hosts, and they comply with the specific policy that has been assigned. Storage policy-based management is the foundation of the VMware storage data center architecture and provides a single unified control plane across a broad range of data services and storage solutions. This framework helps align storage with the application demands of your virtual machines. To learn more, visit vmware.com/products/vSAN.